All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble. Of course, we're almost 300 people are waiting for the live stream, which will be delayed by a few seconds. Some sirens outside. I believe that I am live, though, because chat is working. We've got all sorts of stuff to talk about today. One thing, the fifth link in the description for the news items accidentally included one about Al-Qaeda instead of the Finnish burials, actually. I don't know exactly how I got the wrong archival link for that. So I'm referring to a different link, of course, at the moment, because I don't know exactly how I accomplished that. I don't even remember reading the article. So clearly, I did something wrong. So we'll be talking about a lot of stuff today. The U.S. border, of course, is Swiss cheese. And you've got a latest surge in the Tucson sector that we've got to talk about because it's pretty nuts. Liz Cheney has gone officially insane. I mean, I know she was less than maybe fully sane before, but now she seems to think that she might mount a third-party presidential bid in order to stop Trump, in her own words. I don't think that'll go over so well. This comes in the wake, of course, of insinuating that he should be killed and the other things that she's said. She's really taken a dump right now. I think that it's mainly related to her book. Like, she wants more book sales. She just wants the attention. But she's saying crazy shit. So Liz Cheney, the daughter of Dick Cheney himself, by the way, we'll be talking about her. Newsom canceling Christmas in California because of pro-Palestinian activists, actually. In Sacramento, they were going to have their Christmas tree lighting, but then there was going to be a protest same time, same place, and they decided to demur by them, which shows his weakness, of course. Pregnant women need to eat more meat. We've got that from the scientists now, from Medical Press, actually. And pregnant women are missing vital nutrients, a situation that could worsen with plant-based foods. Yeah, because meat is good for you. You should definitely eat more meat products. Hopefully, they are sourced to actual open-air farming, actual free-range chickens and shit instead of so-called free-range, which means that they are capable of standing up in the barn where thousands of them are kept. I don't believe in animal abuse, but I do believe in eating meat. Some people seem to think that these are contrary to one another. I personally enjoy a good steak. Mysterious ancient cemetery in Finland is devoid of human remains. Yes, they've excavated a number of burial spots up there. They are remarkably old, considering the fact that they are in the deep Arctic. And it's a little bit of a mystery as to how a society could exist there, actually, at that time in any significant numbers. But somehow they found a way. And then Florida Man, we'll be talking about the latest Florida Man case. This one, I couldn't leave it out. I know it's not technically newsworthy, and it's probably hyperbolic, but it was just too fucking funny. The headline, we'll be getting into that, of course, as well. We got some super chats already, I believe. We have Sparky. Greetings, fearless leader. Greetings, Sparky. Always good to see you. G Phaser. Tim Pool brought up that illegal immigrants in the army would be more willing to follow orders against populist civies per lefty government orders. Thoughts? Possibly. Yeah, absolutely. I think that they're just, they can't recruit anyone because nobody wants to join up because the military is currently run by idiots. So I think that's their main problem. Huns with guns. I saw your GTA 6 tweet. You see that commie grifter jackoff Winkle saying we need to ban GTA 6 for some reason? I think I did see the post, but I can't remember what it relates to, and I don't really care. I think that violence and sexuality in video games is fine. Parents are responsible ultimately for if their kids decide to play them, and it's up to them. It's not up to government. Grandpa Nurgle. Trying to figure out this Rumble super chat. Is it working? Yes, Grandpa Nurgle, your super chat did indeed go through. Anyway, we'll start right off with this. I might keep it a little bit on the short side today, although I tend to rant and then go over my time limit sometimes because I've got chili on the stove. I am slow brewing it to perfection. Yes. And by the way, beans do go in chili. I know Razorfist disagrees with me, but he's wrong, unless it's being used as a condiment, in which case you do not need beans in the chili. I love you, Joe Biden. Migrant thanks POTUS after crossing illegally in Arizona. We've got a video of this, actually. If you go to the live page, you'll be able to see the video. They cut a section of the wall out, and there's a bunch of people piling through. And then the apparent trafficker, or whatever you would deem him, the coyote, basically salutes the camera and is like, oh, that's great. And apparently one African immigrant, so this is not somebody from Central America. It's not an asylum seeker from Venezuela. They have no legal right to be in the United States. I was like, oh, thank you very much. I love you, Joe Biden. Thank you for everything, Joe Biden, the male African migrant told Fox News in Lukeville, Arizona. I'm a good person. I want to be a good person here in the United States, he said. I can appreciate the candor. I can appreciate that people that are downtrodden around the world want to come to the United States in order to live the American dream, which under Bidenomics is basically you can afford ramen soup, by the way. So I'm not sure why he even fucking bothered. People, though, from other continents, from outside of the hemisphere, cannot possibly establish a legal asylum claim under virtually any circumstance, unless there's a literal, like a civil war breaking out or something in Rwanda or whatever. This is not an asylum seeker. It's also not a migrant. It's an illegal immigrant. And Fox News should be labeled cuckery for not using that term. This is not a migrant. This is not somebody who's coming here for just topical work to make money and send remittances back home. This is somebody who is ignoring the laws of the United States, coming across illegally from a foreign continent, from not even within the hemisphere, and attempting to settle in the United States. While I have sympathy for people around the world that are in pain, and there are legit asylum seekers, by the way, Venezuelans, for example, trying to escape communism, Cubans, for example, trying to escape communism, people escaping war zones. That's true. There are legitimate asylum seekers. That's not the bulk of the people that are coming into the United States. If we armed the border and we fully defended it, if we had the Trump wall and we didn't have an incarnation of Congress blocking it for 3 years. If we had the Trump wall and enough staff and so forth and properly policed it with non-lethal means mainly and surveilled it with drones and so forth, we could stop 99% of this bullshit. But the two parties don't want to do that. Now, some people say, well, it's Biden's open border policy. Absolutely, he's responsible. He's supposedly the commander-in-chief. He's responsible for that aspect of national security. The Republicans don't want to close the border either. In fact, they glowingly praise the concept of bringing in limitless waves of people, so long as they sign the paperwork and pay back taxes, of course, because then they can do the brute labor. They can cook them their avocado toast and so forth. They get $15 a slice and shit like that. That's exactly what they want. You think that the Republicans don't support limitless illegal immigration? They love illegal immigration. They see these people as slaves. The Democrats see them as voters. So there's a little bit of a difference, but they still support fundamentally the same thing. The U.S. border is utterly overwhelmed. Take a look at the video. Take a look at the pictures. There's no other way to put it. If you don't have Border Patrol agents, number one, enough of them, and number two, empowered to do something when somebody starts cutting through the border wall, then the border wall means absolutely nothing. It's a good first step. It should definitely be completed. It should be, I hope that Trump is reelected and he builds the rest of it. But you need actual enforcement. If you don't have enforcement, then the wall means nothing. It's a mild impediment. It just means that people, instead of walking across, they have to hire some dude who has a power saw. That's all it means. Literally nothing more. And the Biden border is literally Swiss cheese. It was better under Donald Trump because people got the sense that they would be deported if they came through illegally. At the very least, some people held back. We don't have that anymore. Wow. Today, I fixed an annoying bug caused by a fresh instance of Edge opening a pop-up after 5 minutes that could not be interacted with. Fuck you, Microsoft, and your garbage products. God damn, you've used Edge? I don't know anybody else that has. I don't know. I use Opera myself. I realize that some people encourage me to use Brave, and Brave does have some good positives about it, but it doesn't work well with every application that you need when you're a content creator. Send your faces from the $11 an hour temp agencies. Thanks to Arizona Coyotes. Grandpa, oh, I already did yours, Grandpa Nurgle. Sigil Stone, I'm going to have fun on Twitter today. A furry is convinced I'm in some neo-Nazi group trying to kill furries, and he sent me a DM demanding to know if I know some random person. I replied with Goatsy. Oh, God. Vermont Power, clanking at Picasso in Stowe, Vermont. I've been to Stowe several times. Quite nice, actually. It was funny back during the Trayvon Martin case. You remember when they had the, I can't use that term on YouTube, the riot guide, like the levels of riots, like LA riots in South Africa and stuff. And the homogenous community was Stowe, Vermont, actually. It was a picture of Stowe. It's not so homogenous anymore, maybe. Wow, I don't use Edge, lol. It's my web testing suite. Oh, okay. I was going to say, have you gone insane? Have I got to beat your ass, Red Boy, using Edge? God Christ. Even Mozilla's better, and Mozilla peaked 10 years ago. I remember when I first found out that there were more ways to browse the web than Internet Explorer, and I was very, very hyped at the time. That was at the end of the 2000s, so sue me. Next news story. We have Liz Cheney in focus. Oh, yes. Little Liz, she still thinks for some reason that she's politically relevant. She's now talking about, well, maybe I need to have a third party run for the presidency to stop Donald Trump. We must stop him at all costs. By the way, if Donald Trump were to say some of the things that Liz Cheney said in her interview the other day with regards to stopping him, liberals would be flipping out and saying it was a call for assassination, effectively. We must stop him at any cost and any hazard. Any cost that I have to pay to stop evil orange man, I will. That sounds like a dog whistle to me. If you had an R after your name instead of a DR after your name, which is, she's a rhinocon, so that's basically what she is, people would construe that as violent rhetoric. And I just find it funny because Liz Cheney is about the most anti-charismatic personality in the world. I always compare it to like the way that she normally looks. It looks like an upper middle class woman who has a poodle, and the poodle just like rolled around in its own shit or like ate its own shit or something like that. And that's basically Liz Cheney in a nutshell. Like she always looks like that too. Even when she smiles, she looks like she's being disapproving of something. Like in the back of her mind, there's something that's bothering her, something that pisses her off because it's not going her way. My pickles were spoiled. I would do a Liz Cheney face impression, but I don't think that I can really do it because I tend to be a very jovial person. I tend to be more, I can do a Bernie Sanders impression, but that's because he's funny. I can't do a Liz Cheney impression, though, because she's the opposite. At least Bernie Sanders, he has the one redeeming quality of being amusing. Liz Cheney is just a goddamn wet blanket at all goddamn times. I've never seen her crack humor or anything like that. Total seriousness, total sourpuss face. And I just find that funny. But now she's talking about running for the presidency. You suffered a near historical defeat when you ran for re-election in Congress after voting to impeach Donald Trump. Yeah, I think it was the third largest margin of loss for any incumbent running for re-election in U.S. history, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you're going to do a lot of damage to Big Don. I'm sure that people that would vote for you were already planning to vote for Trump, but then they said, hey, here's another Republican who's totally viable. I don't think that's going to happen. RFK Jr. can potentially do damage more than Liz Cheney can. Anyone who's taking that threat seriously, by the way, just calm down. Liz Cheney, even if she jumps into the race, it's not going to drain a vote from Trump. If anything, you'd be more likely to drain votes from other third-party candidates, of which there are a mess already. You've got RFK Jr., so he's sort of like the Union Dem figure. He steals some votes from Trump in the Rust Belt, but I think he steals just as many from Biden elsewhere, so it doesn't matter. You have Cornel West. He's a leftoid. He's more the intellectuals leftoid. Then you have Jill Stein, the more activistic leftoid, so there's going to be an age balance there. And then you've got Trump v. Biden, presumptively. Donald Trump coming out the other day in his interview with Hannity saying he doesn't expect that Joe Biden even survives to the general election. This is possible. By the way, it's also possible that Donald Trump decides to croak before then. He is in his mid-70s. I don't get taken in by the propaganda pieces by DeSantis simps saying that Donald has congestive heart failure and probably takes pills for the fluid, the building up in his body because his heart can't pump right. I don't really believe in that. But I do know that Joe Biden has to have at least bran and prunes in order to have a bowel movement. So, there's that too. Liz Cheney should be the last of anyone's concerns with regards to the election. I hope she jumps in. I'm actually hopeful that she does, so she can embarrass herself once again. She'll sell a few more copies of her book, so she'll make money. She'll embezzle the campaign funds just like her daddy did, and then she'll call it a day. She makes money. I get to make jokes. I don't see the problem with it. I would love it if Liz Cheney jumped into the race. Please do, Liz. Absolutely. Sparky, near 100% support from U.S. Congress, plus Elon's full-throated fellatio made Bibi feel empowered enough to continue to destroy Gaza, killing thousands of kids, even if Biden admin says to cool it. Muddy Drip 6665, you mentioned increased IRS underpayment penalties. Do you think that has anything to do with the student loan forgiveness as earned income? It's one way for the government to finally collect. Yeah, those people that got student loan debt forgiveness are in for a big goddamn surprise when they file their tax returns. It's going to be interesting. And by the way, those are a bunch of Gen Xers. Those aren't the younger voters. They're not going to be too happy about it, I think. Primarch Vulcan. If the Trump campaign is smart, they will show the footage of the coyote saluting the camera on repeat while blasting the Biden administration. I agree with you. It's the perfect propaganda image. The literally a human smuggler saluting the United States from the other side of the border. He's like, he got paid. He doesn't need to worry about remittances. Considering the number of people he appeared to be transporting across the border, he probably cleared quite a bit of money. Probably several years' income for Mexico's standards. Sparky. Liz Cheney definitely takes after her father. Yeah, and she also makes credible criminal threats against people by Democratic Party standards, apparently. Wow, shout out to Mental Outlaw, base tech farmer, YouTuber. Kristen Thurber, you mentioned steam cars the other day. I own a couple and a crank start car. They are fun antiques. Yeah, but they're fun antiques for you're showing them off or something. You have them in your collection. I don't think the average person would want to take one to work. A little bit less reliable, for example. Sigil Stone, last time I saw Liz Cheney in anything, she was complaining that Kermit the Frog still wouldn't commit to marrying her. She does look a little bit like Miss Piggy, yeah. I mean, she's not obese or anything like that, but she's got the same attitude. Squishy Banana Productions. Hey, Sticks, longtime lurker, former Skyrim mod author, now tackling my first game in Unreal Engine. Your vids are great for getting me through the day to cheer. Cheers. Day to day, sorry. Cheers. Thank you. Yeah, Skyrim mods are good. Without mods, Skyrim is like a 7 out of 10 game. Good open world. All right graphics for its era. Decent storyline, but with the mods, it definitely takes it to the next level. Deus Flex. Miss Piggy's bid will miss the mark as bad as her daddy's quail hunt. She'll be the Beto of the cycle if she jumps in, basically. Accomplishing literally nothing. I can't even understand why she would bother except to get her name out there and sell more books, because she just made her book full of falsifiable information about Donald Trump being evil and demented and unhealthy and Hitler at the same time. So I think that's probably her grift there. Next news story. We got sad Californian children. Breaking, Governor Newsom cancels Christmas tree lighting ceremony after threats of disruption by pro-Palestinian activists. Yes, Gavin Newsom is such a goddamn pathetic weakling that he would rather cancel the Christmas tree lighting celebration than simply go in, fucking light it anyway, deal with the fact that there might be some hecklers or protesters there, and if things get out of hand, then the police show up anyway, because California, it's not just the LAPD in California that's known to be a bit on the brutal side. Newsom is nuts. Optically speaking, this is a huge loss for him. And this in the wake of managing to lose to DeSantis, by the way, in a debate that the RNC really should disqualify him from tonight's debate for, because it was not hosted by or sanctioned by the RNC. But because everyone else showed up with Vanderplatz, the RNC effectively cucked on the issue. And I love watching that because the candidates basically told their own party to fuck off. I will admire them for that. They were right to do so. Newsom, instead of, calling in the big guns and saying, okay, I'm going to light this fucking Christmas tree. You're not going to stop me from doing that. Said, oh my God, there might be a disruption. What he doesn't want is to come out on stage next to the Christmas tree, and there are a bunch of people with political protest signs berating him for lighting the Christmas tree. What he doesn't want is a moment where people say, how dare you focus on Christmas celebration when children are dying in Gaza? That's what he was afraid of. He was afraid of bad optics. And so he decided to tuck tail and run home like a little pussy. So guess what California is doing for Christmas this year? They are going to have a live stream of the Christmas tree lighting in Sacramento. They're going to stream it on the internet instead of actually doing it in person. What a pussy. There's no other way to put it. Gavin Newsom is an unmitigated pussy. You lost to Ron DeSantis, of all people, in a debate. He's not the world's greatest debater. You stand down on this. You looked optically terrible during lockdownerism. Why are you even around? Why do you exist? What purpose do you serve in life? You're certainly not serving the average Californian person anything other than piles of your own excrement. Sort of like what Liz Cheney's dog eats before she makes her daily disapproval face. I don't even understand it. It's like his advisors at the very least should have told him it was a bad idea. He should have gone forward with it, expected there's going to be a protest there. Okay, cordon it off. How many cops are there in Sacramento? You don't have enough police resources? Oh, that's right. You also wanted to fund the police, so maybe actually you don't. And your own fans are going to be the ones that are there protesting. So that would be a big problem too, because you'd have to count on a bunch of MAGA hat wearers to stop them if things got rough now, wouldn't you? Wow, Morrowind greater than Skyrim. I didn't play Morrowind. I played Oblivion and Skyrim. I personally like Skyrim. The music is fantastic. The musical score for Skyrim is second to none. In my opinion, it's tied with Vice City for the greatest soundtrack of a video game of all time. The Grizzly, what do you think of Tim Pool's idea that Biden will be swapped out for Newsom? I think that would be a bad idea at this point, especially considering what I just talked about. I think that's pretty out there. Wouldn't he do worse against Trump than Biden? I don't necessarily think he'd do worse, but he's quickly burning off any excess support he would have had. Backing down on Christmas, even in a state like California, is not a great idea. Certainly wouldn't extrapolate well to the swing states, a place like Virginia or something like that. Newsom showed himself to be unprepared when he was debating Ron DeSantis. Again, it should have been an easy win for him. I expected him to win. I said my hope is that Ron DeSantis clobbers him. My expectation is that Newsom runs circles around DeSantis. DeSantis outperformed expectations, admittedly. I'm not a DeSantis fan. I'm not going to vote for him, but he did outperform. And Newsom just looked like he didn't know what was going on sometimes. Like he's clueless. Lev Polyakov, UFO stream with Jason Georgiani on breaktherules.tv today, 3 p.m. Eastern. I know your views on it, but having you two on soon would be legendary. I'd like to come on and talk about paranormal stuff like UFOs. That'd be great. Right now, my schedule does not allow many appearances. Everguard VPN. Here's some bacon sticks. Experience Everguard VPN, the ideal choice for all your VPN needs. Well, thank you for that. So Everguard VPN. I cannot vouch for them directly because I have not used them. In fact, I haven't used any VPNs in my life. But you pay me and I'll shout it out unless it's illegal. Wah, pro-pallies, any cause really, hurt sympathy for Gazans whenever they interrupt people's lives like this. Please help our PR. We desperately need it. Lol. Yeah, I don't even understand what they're hoping to accomplish either. You know, disrupting the Christmas celebration is really going to get people to support the Hamas or something like that, I guess. Sparky. Macron uses national police force to stop demonstrations because it's made up largely of foreign-born officers, so they don't mind hurting local French protesters. U.S. military may have that in mind. I don't think so. I think it's more happenstance. They just don't have the ability to recruit. Raymond Holgun, $10. No comment. Thank you very much. Joe. Hello, Mr. Sexy Hammer. I'm hunting right now. Venison biltong? What's up with the warship that was shot in the Red Sea? Thank you. My name's Joe. Hey, Joe. Venison is good. I guess, yeah, you turn into biltong. But I think that the problem is regulatory statutes on wild harvested meat would be a problem. I think Anton explained that to me in a DM at one point. So you'd have to farm the deer. which would raise the price, I think, considerably, as opposed to simply getting it in hunting-wise. You're not going to get skunk biltong either for a reason. Raccoon biltong. Yeah, maybe it's great. I would love to try bear biltong, bear fat dripping all over it and stuff, but I don't think that we're going to get that anytime soon. You could probably make it yourself, but if you sold it, the FDA would send its thugs out with machine guns and then fucking kill you Ruby Ridge style. The warship in the Red Sea was responding to a distress signal from a number of Israeli-flagged vessels, and it happened to be in the area when missiles were fired at it. I do not believe, I don't think the ship was hit, though, so that's the good news. Randy M., what if Biden bows out and runs as the Dem she is? What if Biden bows out and runs as the Dem she... Do you mean Harris or Liz Cheney? I'm assuming you mean Liz Cheney. Yeah, she could switch parties. That'd be funny. Trump v. Dick Cheney's daughter would be a hilarious race. Wame Cheetah Hop sent $1.99. No comment. Thank you very much. Yeah, why don't you just grind up all the meat into a log and then turn it into biltong, just like every meat that you can find. It'd be funny. Somebody should make a meat. It's like a ground beef sort of thing, but it's made of every meat that they can possibly find. Just put it through a grinder. Chicken, turkey, pork, wild boar, deer, bison, beef, elephant meat. Who gives a damn? It's meat. That'd be fun. Maybe it'd be tasty, actually. You never know. Sigil Stone. Speaking of Skyrim, they updated it again and combined all the DLC and mods into one. Seems they said everyone calls Creation Club paid mods anyway, so fuck it, paid mods. King of Biltong, 1 or 2. Good morning from Anton's in Roanoke, Texas. Free shipping for your biltong using code STICKS on www.landofbiltong.com and www.antonsusa.com. Thanks to Clankers Lane and Robert for visiting us. Hashtag Clank Nation. By the way, speaking of which, there's also merch available on Anton's store. You can get your Sticks, Hex, and Hammer mugs. There are shirts available and tumblers as well. 2 of 2. Lots of Clankers visiting us asked we tell you how much you mean to so many of us. You help us start our day and keep pushing us to have hope. Here's an extra large thank you to you from all. Thank you, Anton, and thank you, Clankers, who visit him. Now eat some of that fucking great meat. Jesus Christ. I wish I had a bag. I can't get the biltong here because you can't ship internationally. I wish that I had some of the bison. I would sit here and I would just stare into the camera with a leering look and sit there munching on the death meat. That's what I'm talking about. Things taste better once they're dead, usually. The Japanese didn't get the memo. BW, due to polarization and hatred we have in the country and the fact that 46% of Gen Z girls are leftist and only 30-something% males are, and that most of them won't date them, have we collapse of population? I don't actually believe that. I think that there's a plethora of different views with regards to different issues, and what we lump in as left or right tends to be arbitrary. I do not think we will suffer a population collapse. Mark Guidetti. They attack Christmas tree and menorah lightings because they're barbarians who want to destroy Western civilization. They have the same goal as the left. Some of them I would agree do. Sparky, it's probably too difficult to get the various Democratic establishment factions to agree on a new presidential candidate at this late date. That's the other problem. If they wanted to swap out Biden, they would have had to do it a couple of months ago. They no longer have time. The primaries are upon us. The DNC has already paved the way for Biden to effectively be coronated. Florida, for example, won't have anyone else on the ballot for the Dem primary. They shuffled around the dates for the starting states to give him South Carolina right off the first shebang, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Biden will be presumptively the Dem nominee unless he dies, effectively. He does appear to be seriously running. G-Phaser, thoughts on bounty hunting for seeking out and deporting illegals? You could have willing illegals be hunters with money and citizenship on the table. Turning one person against another can backfire badly. Just look at the story of Alaric and the sacking of Rome. I do not support such an idea. You want to hire regular old bounty hunters from within the United States to go after illegals? That's perfectly fine. BW, Dr. Turley is demonetized. Please support him. I don't know who Dr. Turley is. It seems like somebody's brought him up before, but I don't know anything about him. Sparky, it's called Mystery Me. Yeah, my mom actually had literal mystery meat when she was in like high school back in the day, back during the middle of the Cold War. I think my dad did too. And apparently it had a weird color to it sometimes, and it wasn't 100% established that it was fully edible. Alan Smithy. Do political endorsements actually work? I don't know. I talked this morning actually about how the endorsements of both Kim Reynolds, the governor of Iowa, and Vanderplatz, the evangelical leader of most of Iowa, don't seem to have nudged the metric in DeSantis' favor at all. I made a video on New Tech Exclusive this morning about that. Endorsements do not matter very much. It depends on the person. If you're endorsed by someone who's a real heavy hitter, really popular or something, it matters more. If you're endorsed by a state governor with mediocre approval and a person whose political viewpoints are a decade past their prime, apparently it doesn't do much in Iowa. Deus Flex. Are the leftoids jumping that 60% of Americans want an immediate ceasefire in Gaza? The same people highlighting the same amount wanting Medicare for all, failing to differentiate between wanting something and understanding its feasibility. Well, I mean, they're leftoids. Of course they don't understand feasibility. I want the NFA to be struck down tomorrow. Is it feasible? No. I want my taxes to be reduced by about 70%. Is that feasible? No, you have to work towards that. Leftoids are dealing with a problem where a lot of them are getting impatient. And it used to be like the overall liberal juggernaut was the patient side of politics. The Republicans would be fucking each other in the ass. The Democrats would be playing a generational game. Now it's beginning to shift because you've got that rise of the monopole far left. And it's becoming a real issue, I think, for the Democratic Party and for the liberals in general. Miss Grimstock. Hi, Sticks. My son just bought a 3D printer. I'm calling on clankers to create some clank-related 3D printer files. Have a great day, all you clankers. Okay, so Miss Grimstock is asking for 3D printing files for Sticks Hexenhammer stuff. I have no clue how 3D printers work. Never used one in my life. Just remember that, FBI, okay? Mostly okay. Sticks, can I get a shout out to my new song? Band name, Mostly Okay. Song name, Change of Pace. Consider that a shout out. People can go and watch it at their leisure. Wow. Percent chance they off Biden to force a different candidate. Very low. If somebody takes a shot with the way the legacy media is propagandizing, it'd be more likely they took it at Trump, unfortunately. 0x, do you think that Israel should just annex and send the Palestinians to the East Bank to finally end this conflict? I disavow, but it's needed to end hundreds of years of this. Is it worth it? Had to censor this. I don't think it'd end the conflict. No, if anything, it would cause a wider conflict, at least temporarily, as all the nations in the region dogpile. Nick Meischer, Democrats will change their bylaws to allow Michelle Obama to run, or Michael Obama, wink, wink. In April, Biden will say he won't run for health reasons and pardon his family. I disagree with you. Michelle Obama has been pretty goddamn consistent in disavowing any involvement further in politics, number one. Number two, Biden, I think, still does have a huge ego and genuinely wants to be the candidate. There's not a whole lot they can do about it. The Swamp Cleaner, Medal of Honor Frontline has the best in-game soundtrack. Nothing else comes close. Frontline definitely would be up there. I prefer Skyrim. It's just cozy music, you know? I listen to elements of the soundtrack and even the ambient like noise and shit from the game sometimes in the background when I'm editing. Deus Flex, Dr. Steve Turley is a good do. Even gave you a shout out during the Summer of Love when you made fun of the Chaz Garden. Oh, good times. Randy M, more money because you successfully deciphered my SC. Thank you, Randy. GTA Radio was bae. Grand Theft Auto has had good soundtracks too. Dagnabbit32, thank you for helping me start my day. Don't worry, I'll be doing it until I die, so, that could be more or less time, depending on my lifestyle choices. Mark of Reality, we will have a reduced population. However, we're going to have to deal with the cultural effects of Instagram, etc. on human mating rituals. Meanwhile, I'm fine with passport bros. Ashley, on a lighter note, I pet a fat Shiba Inu yesterday. Oh, yeah. Apparently, they're cantankerous dogs, actually. Very cute, but actually not particularly good around children and stuff. Next news story. Pregnant women are missing vital nutrients, a situation that could worsen with plant-based foods. Now, this is from Medical Press. This is from one of those science news aggregators, actually, which is why this, is meaningful. And it's the University of Southampton, actually, that released this particular study. Scientists from the University of Southampton, working with experts worldwide, surveyed more than 1,700 women and found most were missing essential nutrients found in abundance in meat and dairy products. These included vitamins B12, B6, D, folic acid, and riboflavin, which are essential for the development of fetuses in the womb. Now, of course, people take supplements for a lot of these things in most of the world, in the developed world. In some countries, like I remember there was a story, this would have been 10 years ago or something, in Cambodia, there was chronic iron deficiency among small children. So what they got as an idea was they took these little fish, literally like little iron fish, cast iron, and they would cook them in with the food, and it would impart a little bit of iron to the food in order to keep them from being anemic and stuff like that. So this is mostly a developed world sort of thing. Developed worlders have become decadent. And because they tear up when they think of the poor little cow or something like that, they're willing to starve their fetus. I think that that's effectively virtually not shy of child abuse. Eat the fucking meat, eat a goddamn steak, have the pork ribs, eat bacon, eat fucking chicken, kill the animals, eat them, consume them. Your ancestors have done it for a million years. Eat the animals. Yes, including the ones that you think of as pets. South Korea right now is considering banning the eating of dog meat, for example. I like dogs. I have no problem with them. I probably would not choose to eat a dog, but it's retarded. It makes absolutely no sense. It's part of the local cuisine. It doesn't matter. Does a dog suffer more than a cow when you chop its head off? I don't think so. People are awfully arbitrary with regards to these things. The one thing I would put as an aside is that meat should be raised in a humane fashion. This means, by definition, its cost would be higher, by the way. I do not believe in factory farming. I think that anyone with any land at all should go into raising their own chickens at the very least. You get fresh eggs. Once in a while, you slaughter a chicken. You got to deal with the fact that you have to kill all of the male baby chickens from time to time, assuming you're trying to actually get more chickens. That can be a little bit of a problem. And the rooster wakes you up at fucking 5 a.m. maybe, but it's a good idea. I would love a pet goat. And I probably wouldn't eat it either because I just really fucking love goats. And I admit to the arbitrary nature of my love for goats because they're just cool. You know, you look at their crazy eyes, you know, our pupils are round. Their pupils are like little ovals. And it's just kind of, they're creepy and kind of sort of witchy and satanic. And, you know, the kids come around on Halloween for trick-or-treating and you've got a pet goat out there making crazy faces at them. Definitely takes it to the next level experience. That being said, you know, if you need meat, you chop its head off and then you roast the goat and you eat it. You slit open its innards, dump its organs on the ground, and now some of those are kind of edible too. And then you roast it, you skin it, and you eat it. Most people in the world eat meat for a reason. I do not believe in veganism. Now, if you're getting those vitamins from dairy products, from cheese and yogurt and so forth, you drink a lot of milk, eggs, maybe lacto-vegetarian, that can be healthy. That's perfectly fine. You're not going to have a deficiency. Generally speaking, though, people want to eat meat. There's a reason that your body tends to crave it. Ovo-lacto-vegetarianism and pescatarianism are perfectly healthy. There's no indicator that veganism is a healthy dietary choice. I find it funny that the same nerds that are pushing that also push for eating bugs. Well, bugs are meat, technically speaking. Or is it because they are based on chitin as far as their exoskeletons? Do you consider them to be more close to a mushroom or something? Or do you just not care because the human mind is capable of cognating the fact that a grasshopper is a little bit different from a cow? I find it to be just a pile of NIMBYism and irony and hypocrisy. And goat milk is God, by the way. I love goat milk. I like goat cheese, too. Goat cheese on a hot dog? Oh, my God. Goat cheese and chili. Mr. Bell, will we ever reach a Soylent Green style reality? No, I think that our own natural pheromonal hampering of the human reproductive system will take care of it before we reach that level of overcrowding. Wow, not financial advice. Rumble stock at $4.49. Buy low. Sparky. Kamala helped spark the invasion of Ukraine by speaking at the Munich Security Conference. Recognizing her talent, the U.S. sent her to the Middle East to stir up a wider war. So far, she hasn't had any luck. Well, she's also border czar. Look at how that's working out. I think it's by design. Crossover maniac. What about a fake Biden assassination attempt or false flag operation to demonize MAGA and get sympathy for him? Possible. Always be alert to the facts. Ooh, Patrol. Midnight Club Dub Edition is the best game soundtrack. I did like Midnight Club Street Racing. I remember playing that a lot back in the day. BW, they shut down Florida primary for Biden. Case closed. Exactly. Literally did. Caroler, what is your opinion of Airbnb and other short-term rentals causing a housing crisis and property hoarding? I think that if you have a home, you have every right to rent out a room or to rent out a suite or a component of your house. If it causes problems, it doesn't matter because it's that person's property. Comes with risks, though. Katrina Gams. Styx has inspired me to blog on mines on urban gardening, backyard hens, and metaphysics. It is doing well and surprised that people are interested in such things. Oh, yeah. There's millions of people that want to raise hens. Probably 1,000 million people that want to do urban gardening. Blue DeGolier. Congrats, by the way. Thanks for supporting indie film. There's a funny cat recipe on Hillbilly Horror Show, Volume 4, North Korean dish. Oscar Goldman, I worry what shenanigans they'll pull to keep Trump out of office. They're already pulling out all the stops. Look at the lawfare involving him. I mean, he's being charged with things that normally aren't felonies as felonies. He's being charged with things that are quite clearly spurious. Pumpkin Fire Crafts. Good morning, Clankers. 10% off coupon code. Still good on everything in the store through Sunday. Just wanted to thank you all for your support. Code Clank Army. That is Pumpkin Fire Crafts. Pumpkin Fire Crafts and Anton's in Roanoke, Texas, both in the description. By the way, also in the description, a link to my books blog. You can buy some of them too. The last 2 volumes for the year are processing on Amazon. I'm very happy to announce those as they come online. Music and fiction. Having lived in Korea for many years, dog meat was already being phased out without government mandate. It's more of a generational thing, and the youth of Korea are going a different way. Yeah, and if somebody does want to eat dog, how is that any different from eating goat? The cognition of the animal, the size and so forth, vaguely similar. I just don't see the difference other than people in the West think that the dog is cuter. Personally, I think the goat's cuter in most cases. Sigil Stone 17. The way Asian culture prepares dogs for meat is inhumane to the highest degree. Extremely disgusting. They torture the dogs to death and cook them alive and shit like that. I've seen videos of it done. I believe you are thinking of China specifically. I do not believe that that generally happens in well-developed South Korea. Sparky. My neighbor only has 1 acre, but he keeps a couple of cows, goats, horses, ducks, and chickens to teach his children responsibility and where food comes from. It's a good idea. Johnny Deerfist. Morning, Sticks. Did you know you have a twin that goes by Patrick Rare Books on YouTube? No, I didn't. Alan Tenays. What do you think is Kamala's favorite meat? Is Clank Hale? Her favorite meat, I think we know which one that is. It helped jumpstart her career, definitely. By the way, please send no more super chats to the nearly 5,000 people watching live. You have paid me enough for the day. I'm just going to get through these last articles here, and hopefully the chili's not going to burn to the bottom of the pot, because that would fucking suck dick. Science alert. Mysterious ancient cemetery in Finland is devoid of human remains. This, by the way, is thousands and thousands of years old. I'm going to read through a little bit of this and probably mispronounce a bunch of Finnish place terms, but, you know, don't sue me. A new analysis of the site. This is the, again, Tainiero. Probably mispronouncing that. New analysis of the site led by archaeologist Aki Hekonen of the University of Oulu in Finland strengthens the idea that the site was used as a graveyard with up to 200 possible burial pits dug some 6,500 years ago by Stone Age communities, otherwise known for their nomadic forager lifestyle. Even though no skeletal material has survived at Tainiero, Hekonen and colleagues write in a paper, Tainiero should, in our opinion, be considered to be a cemetery site. Seems so. I mean, there are some pictures of it here. They do definitely look like humans were at some point interred there. Bringing about a couple of questions. First, 6,500 years ago, Stone Age tribe in northern Finland. Not the most hospitable place to be. What was this particular culture? Number two, if the grave sites are empty, but clearly were dug for the purpose of interring human carcasses, why are there no human carcasses there? The other possibility is that we were looking at food storage pits or something like that. Maybe they were originally covered with slabs or something as well, and food was stored there over winter, kept frozen, and some group of people some distance away would transit to and from it in order to extract the food that they had gathered in warmer months or something like that. It's entirely possible, although I think that the burial suggestion is generally favored. I'm just wondering, imagine what life would be like 6,500 years ago. You're working with stone tools and wood and animal furs, and you really don't have terribly much more technology than that. And you're in northern Scandinavia. I can't even imagine being able to survive under those conditions. Humans did. They managed to do so. It's just it's definitely a testament to the toughness of the human race. We're not so fragile after all. Well, these days maybe most people are, but somehow they found a way. They must have been eating that high meat diet that pregnant women should be eating, I suppose, because I can't imagine that they had much grain growing going on that far north. I can't imagine there was much agriculture going on, maybe some basic foraging. Maybe they made beer out of pine needles or something like that. Yeah, apparently it actually is a graveyard, and they were sort of questioning what the fuck is going on here. Tiny Arrow might not only have been solely a sanctum for burials, given the litany of tools and scorched material found at the site. Hakonen and colleagues note, nomads may have lit fires or worked stone tools alongside graves, living it for a time among the dead. Or they were food storage pits and there were never dead people put in there. From what I'm seeing from the pictures, it looks more, I'd have to look at the site in person. I did study archaeology, so I have a basic understanding of this. If you were to look at it and it didn't look like it had been redisturbed, so there was never a body in there in the first place, we could be looking at pits that were dug out. They were filled with food, covered over, and then covered over again, preferably with large rocks, so bears and shit don't get into them or something like that. It would be interesting if their entire theory was blown out of the water. If you have scorch marks would indicate the preparation of food. You could say they just lit a campfire while they were digging out a grave for a dead person. But I think by that point, humankind had generally begun to ritualize death. And so it would have been considered a little bit odd probably to be eating next to grandma's dead body. Something like that. It's an interesting story anyway. I'm definitely going to be researching more about it. Again, please send no more super chats. I see some more coming through, but I'm not going to be able to get to them all if you keep sending them. I appreciate money. Trust me. Don't worry about that. But I also appreciate chili. Wolf on the Plains. Clanker's getting Tim Pool to do an Anton's Biltong commercial using code STICKS during super chats the other night was hilarious. Yeah, he's gonna sell a lot of meat. He's gonna run out. Send your faces. What is the Rosicrucian order Emork? Rosicrucianism is a very, very interesting topic. I've edited a number of works by Clymer, for example, one of the heads of the Rosicrucian order. There was a bit of a schismatic movement with Rosicrucianism. There are two basic orders, and Mork was one of them. And it's a mystic order. Some of it goes a little bit off into spooky woo-woo land. Other material is adapted. It's sort of like an updated version of Freemasonry. And it kind of depends on the author, the school, because again, there were two main ones, and the specific work. You'd have to read through their literature in order to understand what Rosicrucianism fully is. It's a slurry of elements of Freemasonry, Christian symbolism, sometimes even Eastern religion for some reason, among other things, Egyptology. You've got a sprinkling of New Ageism, sort of elements crossovered from Theosophy more than anything else, hypnotism and stuff, high magic, grimoires. Basically, if you took down the occult and melted into a slurry, then the Rosicrucian order would be built. It's highly interesting. I definitely recommend Clymer's Grand Grimoire, which actually isn't a grimoire, but it's still an interesting work. Sparky, I've never heard of a long-time vegan to verifiably live into their 90s. Overall, vegetables are tough on the digestive system, increasing GI cancers, and have low nutritional density. I really love vegetables, but I also really love meat. Dat Pie over there. Welcome to Sticks Down. Next live stream will be the first tittle match, I think you mean title match, between Wasted and Sigil. Does Rumble have a high character limit for chats? I don't know what the character limit is. Doc Holiday. Miss Piggy thinking anyone is listening to her TDS psychobabble. Lol, Liz Cheney. Sparky, the cemetery served as a meat freezer, so the bodies disappeared during famine. That's also possible. They could have resorted to cannibalism. You would never know. I think they would have found human bones with cut marks on them nearby, however, if that were the case. Sigilstone, old graveyards being empty. That's a problem in Canada and Germany, too. And then the final news story, again, please send no more super chats. I'm just going to speed through this because this is not newsworthy. I threw this in because it was funny. It's about Florida man, so it can't help it. Florida man hurls sausages at older brother during disagreement, according to the police. Emergency responders used a saline solution to wash out the victim's eyes. It's not entirely clear why you have to have your eyes washed out because you got hit in the eye with a sausage. Maybe it was undercooked, so you're afraid of infection. Maybe it was really hot, and so his eye got spicy or something. Maybe it was like a jalapeno infused or something. A 60-year-old brat in Florida is facing charges after he hurled sausages at his older brother, police said. According to the arrest affidavit from Pinellas County Police Department, 60-year-old Ray Allen got into a heated argument with his older brother in the backyard of their St. Petersburg home on Saturday, December the 2nd. Police said that Allen hurled the sausages directly towards his brother's right side of his face. When local authorities arrived, they quickly broke up the feuding brothers and arrested Allen. I'm just thinking about how fucking funny it is to be arrested for this. And by the way, the article notes that they did not requisition the weapon used in the assault because it's literally a sausage. And nor is there any word on what kind of sausage it was. My thought is probably it was like a really spicy bratwurst or something, like infused with habanero. And that's why he had to have the saline solution applied. And maybe the dude apparently was probably drunk. I can't imagine any other reason you do this. But I was also thinking of something else. You don't really need to arrest somebody for throwing a sausage at somebody. Number one, it's just funny. Number two, the chance of actual injury is pretty low. Unless that sausage has been like dehydrated and you're clubbing them over the head with it or something, I think you'll be able to survive. I don't think that that'll be a big problem. I just thought about how funny it was. And it fits in right in with that meme, Florida man. Although these days, Vermont man is also giving Florida man a run for the money because you have crazy shit happening in Burlington and, to an extent, Rutland, by the way, on a fairly regular basis. So we may supplant you yet, Floridians. And our population's a lot smaller. So if we get more Vermont man articles next year than you get Florida man articles or something like that, then you've got to commit more crimes, I guess. Retain your title. Sigilstone, getting sausage thrown in your eye is just the worst. By the way, grill wurst, really, really yummy. All right, I'm going to go offline now. Now that we talked about Florida man, I just had to throw that one in because I have to check the chili. Otherwise, at some point, it will start to burn, and that would suck ass. And I'm fucking hungry as hell, actually, at the moment, too. So it doesn't help. I've got to wait till the wife comes back to eat the chili. And even then, probably wait a while because it's not even... what time is it? It's only 3:14 local time, so you got to realize you people are watching early in the morning. Mostly, you're in the U.S. time zone. For here, it's mid-afternoon. That's about all. Peace out.